Welcome to the Review Podcast. My name is Pilar.
And my name is Ryan.
And this week, we're trying to tackle Zack Snyder's 2011's fantastical, psychological, and at various times, illogical action-adventure film, Sucker Punch.
Yes.
Y'all really made us watch this film.
Yep. You know who you are. All right, so Sucker Punch, it begins with a slow motion montage where we learn that a very blonde girl has become an orphan and her little sister has been murdered by who turns out to be their stepfather. Next thing we know, the very blonde girl has been framed for her sister's murder and she is taken to an insane asylum where we learn that the warden is corrupt and the head doctor is also, coincidentally, a dance instructor. There are 4 other girls at the brothel/asylum, but none of them can dance, like the very blonde one. Unfortunately for us, we never get to see these entrancing dances, because once she starts dancing, we enter her fantasy world, which is full of giant, ancient samurai warriors, zombie Nazi soldiers, biplanes, zeppelins, a baby dragon and its mother, and a big bomb protected by chrome robots with guns on a maglev train. And unfortunately for the very blonde girl, her dancing ultimately allows just one of her friends to escape the asylum. The other 3 girls are killed, and she herself is left in a captive tranquility after receiving a lobotomy. Happily ever after.
Alright.
So.
Okay.
Did I miss anything there?
No, I think you didn't. Yeah, I don't think you fully got it. But we can talk about it.
Okay.
Let's go into characters. So, 4 characters. We have the main attraction, who is Baby Doll, played by Emily Browning. She is very blonde, very beautiful, very cute. Then we have Sweet Pea, who is kind of the head dancer.
Yeah.
She seems to be the one who is like most adamant about like being really good at it. So it is a brothel, but almost not a brothel. It's really weird. But yeah, she's played by Amy Cornish, and so she's like the one who's like kind of like tries to work hard to be like good at her dance and be in the lead. And then her older sister Rocket, who is played by Jenna Malone, always bringing the sapphic vibes. Jenna Malone's character is kind of like, how would you describe her? Like, almost.
I mean, she's like the wild card.
Yeah, she is the wild card. Like her younger sister, ultimately was just followed her to this brothel to protect her ultimately, and Jenna Malone's like just doing what she's doing, following her whims almost. Then we have Blondie, who's played by Vanessa Hudgens, who's not blonde in this film. She's almost the daintiest one of them all. Like really shy, really girly. That's all I really have to say about her. We have Amber, who's played by Jamie Chung. She's kind of like almost the hot, serious one. She's almost a little ditzy, I feel like, right? Yeah, I don't know.
They're not the deepest of characters.
Yeah, I would say I feel like there's a lot of surface level characterization with with this cast. I will say I do really like a good bit of this cast. That we will get to the part of the cast I don't like. We have so those are the 5 dancers, girls that Baby Doll associates herself with, and then we have Dr. Gorski, played by Carla Gugino, who is the hot mom from Spy Kids, and then we have Blue, who is the psych warden / brothel owner guy, played by Oscar Isaac, who I just hate his face and everything he does. Yeah, and he's kind of scum in this movie too, so I mean, it just makes sense. Uh, and then we have the wise man, who is like this imaginative guy who shows up in Baby Doll's head. He's played by Scott Glenn. Don't know who he is. He's just some old guy who is spewing wisdom constantly. And yeah, those are the main people who come up in this film.
Yeah, John Hamm is also a big name on the credit list, but he is only at the very end of the movie. He plays both the lobotomist and a character named the High Roller.
Yeah, who is supposed to essentially bring a lot of money to Blue, the owner of this brothel.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So, how did you like this movie?
Well, viewers, if you can't tell by both of our tones and kind of over excitement about this film,
oh yeah,
I personally just thought it was boring. I did not like it. As much as I didn't like the birds, I kind of liked this film even less.
Yeah. I mean, the birds was interesting at least.
Yeah.
All right. So, Hannah, my sister, don't hate me for this, but I thought that this movie was had one of the most dysfunctional plots. What did I put? The most dysfunctional movie plot with misplaced miscellaneous symbolism, like just stuff just like thrown in all over the place that never ties back in anywhere. And yeah, I wouldn't even have sat through this movie if you guys didn't like highly recommend it and then give it the most votes. So thank you for that.
I did some digging on like people's perceptions of this film, and it's quite polarizing. It almost falls into the it's slowly growing into the cult classic realm of films. So there was a lot. It was really weird because it's like there was a lot of speak of Zack Snyder, who is the director of this film, not spoon feeding the audience, which it doesn't quite make sense to me because there was a lot of spoon feeding, but at the same time there was a lot of like information that was like hint hint, we're about to reveal something. Like there's a specific scene where it's like it's all in one line where Blue, Oscar Isaac, is like, oh yeah, we do this what does he say? The Russian, was it Russian? Polish?
Oh, yeah, I wrote it down. What's he say?
Polish therapy that helps our girls, our victims, kind of act out what happened to them trauma-wise. But that won't matter because Baby Doll's gonna be in paradise soon. Wink, wink. It's like, how are you gonna explain one thing but then not explain another? Like, that didn't make sense to me. And that's how I felt about the whole film. It's like, it gave you everything up front, but then at the same time, it was like, hey, did you catch this? Look at this thing. Did you know?
Yeah. And there are so many, like, everything's moving so fast, and then it's, like, in slow motion half the time.
Yeah.
And there's all these, like, quick cuts to, like really focused in on something, like a knife. Like, in 45 seconds, we're going to see that knife again.
And then in 45 more seconds, we're going to mention that you need this knife. And then in 45 more seconds, we're going to tell you that's the knife we need to get.
Yeah. So, all right. So what about your interpretation of this film?
All right. I have two interpretations. Okay, with digging, I saw that there was a lot of parallel with a lot of people comparing it to how they cope with their own trauma, and I get it. That's fine. I mean, I definitely think that that's something that does reveal itself in the film. Um, but at the same time, it just, because of what at the level it just felt like it was trying too hard to be a lot of things. So like whatever it was trying to really say, it kind of just got swept over all the stuff that was happening. The costumes, the over sexualization while also not being over sexualized, um, the like cool mecha stuff. But I feel like it tried too hard to be like comic booky, nerdy, but then didn't commit hard enough
Yeah.
to where like it just didn't feel authentic, at least to me.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it tried to be like steampunky, but I felt like it wasn't there yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it didn't commit to like any certain um what's it called, like aesthetic
Yeah.
at any given time, you know.
Yeah.
Like we had the first fantasy is at this like Mortal Kombat looking temple, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then these like giant samurai soldiers show up with like red eyes and stuff. But inside the temple is this wise man who's like a
white guy.
like a white guy from Texas or something. You know?
Yeah.
Like just commit. Like I don't know what you're doing here.
Right. And I felt that way about like I don't know. I don't feel like this film was trying to over sexualize its characters, but at the same time it was trying to sexualize them at the same time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so it's just like a weird in the middle. Like I felt like I don't know, like to me the costumes weren't even cool, which is the sad part about it because it's like I just really wanted to like the costumes. And I mean, I don't know. I wasn't into it.
What about your second interpretation?
Oh, that sometimes people just like kind of trashy movies. I felt like this movie was kind of trashy. I'm sorry.
All right. Yeah. So yeah, as much as it is like a kind of all over the place, I do see why people would like it.
Right.
I don't know why they would recommend it and then vote for it, but I do see why people like enjoy watching it every now and then. Like it has a lot of stuff going on,
right?
And it's it's very fast paced and
it almost feels like Nightmare Before Christmas to me, like where it's not like scary, spooky, but it's like kind of like like every goth kid loves it or whatever.
So like, what are you talking about?
Like it's like
I wouldn't call it aesthetic wise.
Yeah, like okay, so I wouldn't call Nightmare Before Christmas like a gothic emo movie, but like it's so kind of immersed in it almost on a surface level.
Yeah.
Like my mom would buy me a bunch of Nightmare Before Christmas stuff because she thought it was like emo or whatever. And it's like, no, Mom, I hate this movie. Please stop.
Yeah, I mean, like genre wise, it is definitely like an action movie.
Right.
But it takes place in this like psychological arena. So it's like this is an action movie, but it's a psychological thriller action movie. But it's not. It's not at all.
Sadly, I was not thrilled.
Yes.
What's that one review? We'll do it in the outtakes.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so for my interpretation, basically I said that the problem with the movie is that it undermines its own interpretation. So it imitates like empowerment of women, and it imitates like the male gaze and how unwelcome that is.
Right.
While simultaneously exemplifying that, like the main character's name is Baby Doll. She doesn't have another name.
Right.
Like, how are you gonna doll people, like attractive young girls up, call them Baby Doll in your movie, and then empower them with all of these weapons, but then at the end of the movie, only one of them gets away.
Right.
Like how traumatized is she at this point?
And like the idea of like already having the weapons, like to me, it's the same problem I had with I'm Sorry to Bother You. It almost like it wants to create like self-empowerment, especially in women, to like, hey, you have all the weapons to overcome whatever you're doing, but it's utilizing actual weapons to help them overcome what they're going through. So it almost doesn't make sense. It's the same thing with, like I said, Sorry to Bother You, where like, it's giving the power to the people, but at the same time, the people can't even accomplish what they need to do without the help of like these mutants, you know? And so that's what's upsetting to me, like as far as like trying to really understand it and like get it, but at the same time it's like it's so hard.
Or maybe that ties back in with the wise guy.
Right. That's
because like, okay,
who is this guy?
Yeah, some white guy is literally giving these girls who are empowered the wisdom that they need to escape from this asylum. And then once one of them finally escapes from it, she's almost caught at the end. But luckily, the wise guy is there in reality as this bus driver.
Right. Like, who comes off really creepy at the end.
So
like,
weird.
What the heck?
Weird thing.
Like, oh, and she's been a great treasure throughout this journey. And then Sweepy is like, what the fuck? Like, who are you? Like, thanks, but stop. All right. So another thing that bothers me, which I feel like maybe I don't think you really got or like are syncing with it, is that the whole film is like, but it was all a dream sort of trope that it creates. So the whole brothel is her experiencing those 5 days in the asylum. So at first I was like, okay, so is the mental asylum like a front for this brothel? But no, that's what just Baby Doll interprets her whole stay there until her lobotomy.
Yeah. No, I got it. Okay. It's a fantasy.
And then she's having fantasies in those fantasies.
What do you mean?
Okay, so the brothel is the fantasy, right?
Yes.
So she's having fantasies in the fantasy. So yes. It's like
when she starts to dance,
right,
is a fantasy within a fantasy.
Right.
Inception. But everything is validated at the end of the movie when somebody says, maybe it's Dr. Gorski or whatever.
It's Dr. Gorski.
Oh, she's done this and this and this week, and it's like, okay, well then that's everything that we thought happened in the fantasy has actually happened.
Right. It was all a dream. But that's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's like almost like it was all a dream because it's like what she was imagining is what we were watching. Right. So it's like, okay, cool.
Right. With the synopsis, I'm just trying to describe what you're watching here.
Right.
You can look into it as deep as you want to.
All right. Well, I have some stuff I want to say. Is there anything you want to say before I start talking?
You want to get into the aspects?
Yeah. Or where are we going? All right, let's get into that stuff. Yeah.
Let's briefly go into Zack Snyder because this is one of his movies, and right. He's become kind of notorious for the Snyder cut.
Right. Like memeified at this point.
Yeah. People, the hashtag. The Snyder Punch, I think, has been trending on Twitter because people want to see Zack Snyder's full extended cut of Sucker Punch. Why? I don't know, but anyway, he.
Well, can I get into that a little bit? Okay, so, like, I didn't watch all of the Snyder cut or all of the deleted scenes or whatever, but I did watch the full dance that they did, the performance, like that shows at the end of the credits. I watched that and it was a lot of fun, and I'm kind of mad that they didn't add that in there because I felt like it would have added a lot more to the characters. Like yes, like they hate like living in this brothel, but almost like this performance is what keeps them going because like they're having fun. Like they genuinely look like they're having a good time, and like I feel like that would have added so much more to the lives of these girls. just having that like sparkle of like happiness for a split second.
Yeah. So I was, I read a lot about, what went into their performances and stuff, and yeah, they like trained and like did like hand to hand combat and like martial arts stuff and learned to shoot guns and learn how to do like tactical gun combat. As far as like entering and clearing out a room and stuff like that. And they learn like pole dancing and stuff. But then you don't even see any dancing in the movie, really.
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe if the extended cut has like actual dances and stuff, maybe it would make more sense.
Yeah. Well,
the one dance that we see during the credits, why is Blue in there? I don't get it.
Well, he's like putting up a show.
Yeah, but he's not. He's like using these girls, like selling them. It's like a brothel. He's not part of the show.
I know, but the club is the front for the brothel, right?
Yeah, but the mob boss doesn't get on stage. I don't know. Anyway,
anyways,
so Zack Snyder, he jumped onto the scene with a remake of Dawn of the Dead, which currently is still his most critically acclaimed movie.
Nice.
I feel like I watched it, but I cannot remember.
Is that the one where they're in a mall?
I don't think so.
Okay.
There's so many zombie movies. I can't remember. They all have like the similar name too.
Okay. Yeah. I feel like I saw the original, and I think I tried to watch the remake.
I can't remember.
All right.
Anyway, 300 is what like got him really popular.
Oh, okay. Budget 300.
Yeah, he said that he made a movie with an all-male cast, so he wanted to make a movie with an all-female cast.
Okay.
Yeah.
But there's like 300 men in that film, and there's like 6 women in this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, I liked 300 back in the day because I hadn't seen anything like that used like a filter like that. It's everything is like gold and red in that movie. And I thought the action was really good, and it was like semi authentic or semi historically accurate.
Okay.
Like it has some cinematic elements and stuff like that. But I had never heard that story before, so I thought that was pretty cool.
Okay.
Anyway, then I read Watchmen, the graphic novel, and
you read it?
Yeah, I read it, and I thought, damn, like I never knew comic books could be like this.
Okay.
Every what do you call them?
Like panel?
Yeah, every panel in Watchmen looks like a clip, like a film clip in a movie. Like it is perfectly set up to be a movie. That's
almost like a storyboard.
Yeah,
right?
like that's what I thought when I was reading it years before he made a movie of Watchmen, and I thought he failed horribly when he made this movie.
Oh man, I feel like I watched 300 and I watched Watchmen, and I think I watched maybe Dawn of the Dead, but I don't remember a single thing about any of them.
Yeah, I was very disappointed with Watchmen. I was like,
I feel like I was also disappointed.
I was like, you can't mess this up. It's like already there for you. You just have to put it in moving images.
Yeah, you just gotta make it move.
Anyway, that if he's made any movie, if any movie has been cut too much, it was that one.
Damn.
Because they changed the entire ending, if I remember correctly.
Damn.
Anyway, he made Sucker Punch after Watchmen, and then he's been just stuck in this DC comic universe.
Dang.
So he did Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice, then he did Justice League, and he's also been like a producer or executive producer on like Wonder Woman and Wonder Woman 1984, and maybe a couple of other...
Suicide Squad.
Yeah, Suicide Squad as well. So he's like heavily involved in those movies, and that's just not my jam,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, I was really heavily into like DC, Marvel, mainly DC because of my mom growing up, but then it just ended up being way too much, and I just kept getting disappointed constantly. So
Now Zack
I'm out of it. I'm out. You kicked me out, Snyder. No, actually, I think somebody else did, but it's okay.
Yeah. Anyway, his latest project is called Army of the Dead. It's another zombie movie. He co-wrote and directed it, and it will be on Netflix May 21st.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah. What's today? Oh wait, no. This will be out well before May 21st. Anyway,
all right.
Yeah.
So that's the collection.
So there you go. How does this fit into his greater collection?
It fits in pretty good.
Yeah. If you want to know anything about Zack Snyder, just watch Sucker Punch, and there you go. All right. So performances and aspects. Let's get into it. You want to start with this?
Sure. All right. So aside from being like a jumble of overly presenting the plot and hiding Easter eggs, it just feels like it's a mesh of a bunch of movies I've seen. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So here I have listed Moulin Rouge, the opening scene, which with the title card in the theater, that is straight up Moulin Rouge, which, I mean, the movie's set in a brothel, Moulin Rouge. Then we have Repo, like the beginning, her mother dying, and then the sad songs trying to be like storyboard. Like, I felt like the first, intro or whatever felt like it was trying to be like a comic book, pretty much like Repo, like going through the motions of
I'm pretty sure
the story.
The entire opening sequence is slow motion as well.
Right, yeah. Then we have series of unfortunate events with the will. Her mom died, the strange uncle, the stepfather is upset, so in series of unfortunate events, he tries to marry her at a very young age. In this one, he tries to, I don't think that was gonna help his case, but whatever. Then we have Inception with the button, because when he ripped her shirt open and then her button was but then it turned even more into Inception when we realized that the brothel was in her mind, and then the
levels,
levels.
Yeah.
And then we have Annie, because they were scrubbing the floors, sleeping on these shanty beds or whatever.
The thing that bothered me about her scrubbing the floor is the floor is soaking wet, and you can see the floor for a pretty good distance in that scene, and I'm like, there is no way she is at that point on the floor and that point way over there still soaking wet.
Right. And then so specifically the scene where I wrote suddenly Annie hashtag it's a hard not life is the scene where they're in their bedroom, and then Baby Doll's like, I'm gonna escape from here, and then Jenna Malone is like, will you take me with you? And that reminds me of the little girl that Annie's attached to. She's like, will you take me? Yeah. Then we have Batman with the insane asylum, and then I wrote Suicide Squad. Oh, so Suicide Squad mainly reminded me of the old man guy, the wise man.
Mm-hmm.
He reminded me of Rick Flag, which I don't know if you remember watching. He was the guy who was leading the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, is that his name?
Yeah, the character's name. Yes.
Okay.
And there was the scene where he introduced Katana, and he's like, her name's Katana. She has a big katana. Don't get killed by Katana, because your soul's gonna be trapped by her katana. That's what he felt like to me. When he's like, also, don't wake mother. God. I am trying to understand why you guys genuinely enjoy this film. I'm sorry.
I think it's fun to make fun of, maybe? I don't know.
But the people who voted for this are not making fun of this film.
Yeah. Alright, anyway.
Yeah, I'm sorry for shitting on one of y'all's movies, but come on. It's what I gotta do. Alright, who do I got? Moulin Rouge, Repo, Series of Unfortunate Events, Inception, Annie, Batman, Suicide Squad, BioShock, with overall aesthetics. And also the big mecha thing just reminded me of Big Daddy.
Yeah.
And then lastly, we have Hereditary, which incidentally came out after this film. But remember the robot where I think Sweet Pea like punches him and his head sticking out, and then his head got chopped off by the pole. Yeah, that's my list of films that it reminded me of.
All right. Yeah. So
where do you want to go off of?
So, with the names thing, I hated their names.
Okay.
Like,
I have a lot to say about their names.
Oh, you do?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, first off, there's 3 blonde girls, and then one girl's named Blondie, and she's not even blonde.
Right.
Come on. All right. And then, okay, so their names are Baby Doll.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then Sweet Pea.
Mm-hmm.
Rocket.
Mm-hmm.
Blondie. Those are all like kind of like out there names, you know, like really cool parents would name their kids that.
Right.
But then we also have Amber, who's the 5th person.
Right.
Like, that's just a basic name.
Yeah. That. Okay. Yeah.
I don't know.
All right. Do you have anything else to say about their names?
I'm
about to go in.
Oh, well, okay. Oscar Isaac, his character's name is Blue. Like, why? Why does this have his name? That doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So, I mean, obviously, Baby Doll's name is Baby Doll because, you know, she's being sexualized or whatever. She's called Baby Doll to, like, be like, hey, girl, Baby Doll, whatever. So, I don't really understand Sweet Pea's name, whatever. We'll jump over. Amber, her job is to get the fire. That's why her name's Amber.
Yeah, but why couldn't her name be like Spark or like Ember?
I don't know because I'm not Zack Snyder, okay? All right. Then we have, I don't know why Blondie's name is Blondie, but whatever. Rocket, her rocket fails.
Rocket fails?
Yeah, because remember, they're on the train and like whatever, the robot like slashes through her rocket to like jump into the helicopter thing. And her rocket fails. That's why her name's Rocket.
I thought her name was Rocket because she got blown up by the bomb.
Whatever, same thing. Well, Blue. This is kind of a stretch, but I think Blue's name is Blue because Baby Doll be giving him blue balls. And then I do think that maybe Blondie's name is like kind of funny because she's the only not blonde girl, whatever. Hilarious. But yeah, that's all I got.
Okay.
I was real mad when I figured out that rocket thing, dude. I'm gonna do research, dude.
All right. Along with the names. Okay. So the name of this movie
Mm-hmm.
is Sucker Punch.
Mm-hmm.
There's like only one punch thrown in the whole movie, and that's by some robot. Did his arm get cut off?
To Sweet Pea, yeah.
And did he?
Oh no, to Rocket.
Did the robot's arm get cut off and then he punched with it or something?
I do not remember.
I can't remember the details of that scene, but that's the only punch, and I don't know. That has nothing to do with like the plot or anything. Like that's such a small moment of the movie.
Yeah, I wish Baby Doll had sucker punched Blue.
Anything.
Yeah, like what the heck?
So Zack Snyder, I looked it up because I don't know. Why the fuck's the title of the movie Sucker Punch? Has nothing to do with anything.
Okay.
Zack Snyder said that, if I remember correctly, he was like, I don't really know. Maybe it's because, like, you know, Baby Doll looks so innocent and you wouldn't think that she'd be able to do all of this, like, cool stunt stuff. Boom, Sucker Punch. That paraphrase makes Zack Snyder look cool.
Okay. I feel very weird about Baby Doll's like characterization because, like, yeah, she's like all innocent or whatever, or she's painted to be, but at the same time, she says a line where she's like, "As long as I'm dancing, they won't even know that you're there." Like, what the heck is that supposed to mean for the rest of these girls? Like, they've been doing this brothel thing for like, you know, I don't know, like maybe half their lives, and then Baby Doll just comes up and does a dance, and she's like, "I'm the best dancer of them all." Like, kind of rude.
So that kind of gets into where I'm so confused.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know whose fantasy it is.
Right.
Is Baby Doll the best dancer because this is specifically her fantasy?
Right.
And all of these other girls have their own fantasies that they're living out while they're there. It doesn't seem like that's the case because they seem pretty well involved in this brothel fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Hmm. Yeah, for a second I thought it was Sweet Pea's.
Yeah, the first time we see the asylum turn into this club,
it was like through Sweet Pea's eyes.
Yeah, she's up on the theater stage, and everything changes, and like the cafeteria seating turns into like these, like little club dining tables and stuff.
Mm-hmm. And like Sweet Pea is like narrating it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, whose eyes are these? Like, which lens are we supposed to like look at this film from? Yeah, there was some mirroring that people brought up, is that Sweet Pea and Rocket are supposed to represent Baby Doll and her little sister and the fantasy of them getting away. But I don't really understand that either, especially because, I don't see Baby Doll being the reckless one. My relationship with Sweet Pea and Rocket is like, I hate it because Rocket ran away from home and Sweet Pea followed her to this brothel, right? Or to this insane asylum.
So I'm aware of that, but when did that information come out? It's just like this small conversation that Rocket is having with Baby Doll,
right? Yeah.
And like, I don't know, if I was taking a note or like taking a sip of my drink, I would have missed it.
Yeah.
Like, and that explains their whole relationship in like one sentence.
Yeah, but then like, Rocket is like grateful for Sweet Pea for doing that, but at the same time she like tosses her sister aside as soon as like Baby Doll comes up. She's like, oh, like Baby Doll has a plan. Like, it's not like we haven't tried, like, it's not like they haven't tried to escape before. And she's putting so much risk into somebody she doesn't even know when her own sister is like trying to protect her. Like, that messes with me. Especially like, because Sweet Pea didn't have to be there. And Rocket is just like kind of taking that for granted. And
that's the thing so yeah, Rocket also says, Sweet Pea is like, well, they'll kill us or something like that. And Rocket says like, well, we're already dead. And it's like, okay, well, I can
then Sweet Pea's like, bitch.
I can get that. Like, I can relate to that.
Right.
Being in an asylum, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then if Sweet Pea wasn't taken there involuntarily,
mm-hmm.
and she's the one that escapes at the end, then it's like, well, you didn't even have to be there to begin with.
Right. You weren't even supposed to be there.
Go live your life.
Yeah. Also, I don't like how Baby Doll came up in there, messes with their whole thing that they're doing. And she's like, I have a plan. And they're like, what's your plan? And she lists 4 things. That's my plan. And I'm like, Sweet Pea says it too. She's like, okay, but how are you, like, I see the list, but what's the plan to get these things? And
and her plan is like, well, I'm just gonna dance. You guys,
I'm gonna dance. Whoever's near can get it while I'm dancing. Yeah. That's the plan.
Okay, so Baby Doll gets to the asylum.
Mm-hmm.
Blue is having this conversation with her stepfather, who you would have never known as her stepfather if Blue wasn't like, oh, this is her stepfather.
Right.
Like, that's one of the things that's spelled out for you. But it doesn't even matter in the grand scheme of things because he never comes around again.
Yeah.
So, whatever. Anyway, the point is, Blue is going to get Baby Doll lobotomized.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to forge Dr. Gorski's signature
right.
to do this lobotomy, which we see at the end of the movie. That happens.
Mm-hmm.
John Hamm comes in, lobotomizes her. Right? He looks at the contract. One of the things that's zoomed in on is you see a signature of Dr. Gorski. And Dr. Gorski is like, what? I didn't sign that. Anyway, like, is this the first time he's ever forged a signature in this
Right.
relationship? All right, so Blue forges Dr. Corsi's signature, authorizes the lobotomy. The lobotomy is performed, right? The lobotomy puts baby doll in paradise, is what he calls it. So she is, like, mentally, she's not there anymore.
Nope.
And then Blue comes in and he wants to, like, rape her, but then he gets mad because she's not there anymore.
Right.
And I don't get it. Like, did he not know that the lobotomy was today? Like, I don't understand what was going on. I mean, he got stabbed, right?
Right.
But I don't know. It just,
I mean, I feel like some people could interpret that to be like the purpose to rape someone is not even to get off. It's almost about the violence. And because she's not
it's
there.
It's about the power.
Right. It's about the power.
Okay.
Because she's not there, she's not fighting, so it's not like fun anymore. So
I don't know.
There's that. But I get it. Yeah.
I'm just completely dumbfounded by the stupidity of like, that's the big, like, villainous act.
Yeah.
Kind of. Anyway, also, her stepfather, the police just believe his story that she's insane, even though he's got these, like, obvious villain scratches on his face. Like, come on, man, that guy's definitely the villain.
The guy's scarred, dude.
But they got me because he wasn't the villain at all. He just wasn't in the rest of the movie.
Right. Blue was the villain, which he got stabbed, I think, almost halfway through the film, and then they brought him back. I don't know. All right. I want to go into the soundtrack.
Okay.
Dude, I mean, I can see how people can like these songs individually outside of these films. Or this film. But I just felt like the songs were too head on. Doesn't make sense. Like,
yes,
too straightforward. Yeah. And it was really annoying. I think song-wise, not the music for me. But at the same time, I felt like it was too much. Yeah. Too plain almost.
I feel like it fits though.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean,
I felt like
imagine a more symbolic song being played during a slow motion montage of Baby Doll fighting by herself these giant samurai warriors than Bjork's Army of Me. Like, imagine a song
right
that isn't as head on.
She was going to get her lobotomy done. The song "Where Is My Mind" is playing. Gosh. That's mainly what I have to say about the soundtrack. I'm not here to like damper on people's taste in music. I'm here to damper on people's taste in movies.
Yeah, that's a different podcast. All right, so the last thing second to last thing I want to bring up is just the acting.
Okay.
In general,
mm-hmm.
I thought you said you liked a lot of the cast, I think.
So I like the cast.
Okay.
Let's just keep it at that.
I thought, with the exception of Jenna Malone,
mm-hmm.
it was hard to find an actor in this movie. So,
yeah.
There's all these action scenes, there's all these stunts and stuff. And Jenna Malone, when she is shooting her gun, she has like this pixie cut thing,
mm-hmm.
and her hair is shaking because she's shooting a gun. And I'm like, now that's a fucking actor right there.
Okay.
I mean,
yeah.
It's not as typecast as I think it almost comes off as, because Jenna Malone typically plays like
the wild card girl.
Like the slutty wild card girl. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she always shows somebody how to have sex for the first time, basically. I don't know.
Okay, yeah.
But I mean, she doesn't
almost
do that.
like Juno Temple,
Yeah.
But
anyway,
yeah,
she almost does that in this movie, but it's not that role.
Mm-hmm.
She's a much more passive character, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
And
It was a little bit of a switch up.
yeah, a little bit. I thought her performance out of everyone was the strongest.
Yeah, it definitely felt like it was the strongest. For me, sadly, I felt like Carla's was like the most caricature-y.
Oh yeah, I mean anybody with a Russian accent for no reason is gonna be like that. I don't know.
But she's Polish.
Oscar Isaac, I love Oscar Isaac.
I hate him.
You hate him.
I hate him.
This is a horrible movie for Oscar Isaac because he plays this slimy character so well.
He plays the slimy characters. That is what he plays.
He's always the slime ball. But this, like, in this movie, he's the slime ball with like a trashy mustache and eyeliner, and it just doesn't.
Dude,
I don't know.
I feel like he's had a trashy mustache in another film, but like in not Disturbia, Suburbia.
Suburbicon,
yeah.
But it's unbelievable to me that he would ever look like this.
2011, man, it's different times.
The movie's supposed to take place in the 60s. You know that?
Yeah, and yet she is imagining what it would be like in 2000. Sorry, birds. What it would be like, in cyber future. All right, my last thing, which is close to the end of the film, is that she says to Blue, Baby Doll says to Blue, you will never get with me. Like high end.
Okay.
Like, I felt like that was a strong finish. And I wish that the film had, like, taken that in and then gone to, like, her escaping, and then that was the end of the film.
Okay.
I had wished that that's what it was. But then she says, ever. She says, you will never get with me. And then she's like, ever. Like, almost like she was contemplating. Like, you already said never. Like, I guess I could interpret it that she was, like, saying it, like, you will never get with me in this universe or in another one, or, Yeah. Like, I see where that could be the possibility.
Okay.
But it's just, like...
You will never get... What is it? You will never get with me?
Right.
In this scene or in the next scene.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's almost like a wink wink, and I hate that. Ah! I wish she had just finished it like that, because I felt like that was already, like, the never already felt strong. Like, you're never gonna get with me. Like, never.
Yeah.
And then, like, adding the ever felt like there was an opening somewhere.
I'm proud of you. That's a deep read. That's good.
Well, thank you.
That's good. You done with that?
Yeah, I'm done. You're good. You can finish off.
Okay, so the last thing that I want to bring up, is the setting itself. All right, so we're at this asylum, right? It's called the Lennox House. We get one, as they're pulling up to the asylum, we get a very brief clip of the sign. Okay, it's called the Lennox House.
Okay.
And it has a placard that it's in Brattlesboro, Vermont.
Okay.
Which is a very specific name of a town, which is a real town in Vermont that has a real insane asylum.
Okay.
It's not called the Lennox House, but it's called the Brattleboro Retreat. So what they do in the movie, we got this super corrupt guy named Blue, right? Who's performing like unsanctioned lobotomies on these girls and selling them as sexual favors for powerful men, apparently. Meanwhile, the real asylum that the movie references, for an insane asylum, actually seems like a very respectable place. So, just reading straight off of Wikipedia here, but the Brattleboro Retreat has been known throughout its history for adhering to the concepts of moral treatment while integrating advanced methods of care. So they're one of the first among psychiatric hospitals in the U.S. to have patient-produced newspapers, bowling alley, chapel, theater, gymnasium, recreation, book discussion groups.
Right.
Currently, like they're still, it's called a retreat. They currently have innovative programs for new inpatients for LGBTQ individuals, as well as like partial hospital and residential programs for uniformed service professionals like police officers and firefighters and soldiers and stuff like that. So say what you will about an insane asylum, the one that they reference seems like the exact opposite of what they represented as in the movie.
Yeah.
So why reference it if that's like just make up a place?
Maybe that's just something he remembered.
Just make up a place.
Yeah. I don't know. So I will kind of I can't say I preface it because it's afterwards. I will post-face it. I did watch a good bit of reviews. Specifically, I did watch like Everything Wrong with Sucker Punch and then the Everything Wins with Sucker Punch or whatever. Okay. So I did. I wrote most of my notes down, or I wrote all of my notes down before before watching those, and so I do feel like some of my, at least mine, interlap or like kind of parallel. But it did help me understand, especially the one that talked about all the good stuff or that people like the wins. I feel like it helped me understand where people were coming from this film. So, I mean, I hated it. Sorry. But I do see where people are coming from. And, if you like this film, you like this film.
Yeah.
I'm just going to rate it what I'm going to rate it. And you are going to have to live with it. And you can just watch this movie and enjoy afterwards.
Yeah. So let me give my final grade.
Okay.
And then you can give yours. So this movie, unlike many of you, I would not recommend you watch this movie. I thought it was very boring. I didn't enjoy almost anything about the movie.
Right.
And yeah, I'm gonna score it accordingly. I'm gonna give it. Oh man, it's tough because like, what redeeming qualities does it have? You know?
Right. I did also struggle to do this, but
yeah,
you gotta give it a number, Ryan.
All right, I'm gonna give it a 2.8.
Okay.
Because it's not quite a 3.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
But it's not quite a 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Like, unlike The Birds, like, there is a possibility of me watching The Birds again just to make fun of it.
Yeah. It's not as campy as it should be, but it is still somewhat campy.
Yeah, it's somewhat funny. This film is not funny, so I don't feel like it's a fun time to make fun of to watch again. And I did not like it story-wise to watch again. So
that hasn't occurred to me. It's not funny at all. There's nothing funny about this movie.
I mean, it's not supposed to be funny, but
we got every other genre in here.
Okay. Oh, we didn't even talk about I Heart Huckabee.
We're not there yet.
Oh shit, my bad. Cut it out. Anyways, so with my rating, I'm gonna go through my things. I haven't done those for the others, but that's mainly because they all scored pretty much 9s to 10s in their categories. With this film, character-wise, I rated it a 4 just because, I really like Jenna Malone's character. And I felt like the characters, for what the story was, did their jobs.
Okay.
And then plot-wise, it's a 3. I'm sorry. It's just not a good plot. it's
a
a hard
mess.
casual watch, and it's a very annoying deep watch.
Yeah, it's not. It's too deep to watch casually, like
Right.
like meaning wise.
Mm-hmm.
Not even like, oh, this movie's so deep. It's like the meaning of the movie is deeper than if you're just like casually watching it.
Right, right,
But
right.
then it's not deep enough to like take anything away from it.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I would recommend watch Repo instead.
Yeah, yeah.
If you're trying to get into the aesthetics, have a fun time, Repo's where it's at. I feel like,
It's got your girl.
yeah, Alexa Vega, who is also in Spy Kids.
Oh.
Oh, and Paris Hilton,
Yeah.
who was also in Hottie or Naughty. Anyways, sound, I'm sorry, I'm gonna give this a 0. Soundtrack is awful. The sounds were awful, I'm sorry. I just felt like it was either too obviously blunt or just, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, it's a 0. Formatting, the editing, I just felt weird with the back and forth with the like the objects that they needed to get.
Yeah.
So I rated it a 4. Dialogue, I rated it a 2 because it was just very conversational. There was nothing interesting for the characters to say except for Sweet Pea. I felt like she was a straight man throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
She's the only one making sense, almost like the mom in The Room, where she's like, "What's happening here?" That is Sweet Pea. Originality, I gave it a 4 because despite this movie being like its own script that Zack Snyder wrote, it just feels like too many films I've seen before.
Yeah. It's obviously heavily influenced by several films.
Right.
Yeah.
Pace was too slow and too fast at the same time, and it took forever for this movie to finish. So I'm gonna give it a 3. Setting, I mean, it looked cool for the most part. So I'm gonna give it a 5.
Hey.
Same thing with cinematography. I think it had its thing that it was going for, but it just did not commit enough for me to really be like, whoa, like this is really cool. So I gave it a 5. I think for people who are trying to dip their toes into this type of aesthetic, it works. For people who are really into this aesthetic,
yeah.
It's
like comic booky-esque or like
right.
video gamey-esque.
So it's a 5.
Yeah.
And personal enjoyment, I gave it a 1 because I mean, my favorite part of the film was the dance performance, and that's not even in the film. So, yeah.
So that's at the very end.
That's at the very
during
end,
the credits,
and during the credits, and it's got all these filters going through. You barely see it through a sliver.
That's your favorite?
Yeah, like Ryan wanted to turn off the movie as soon as the credit rolled, and I was like, no, dude, let's watch this because this actually feels like fun. So we watched it, and I had a good time during the credits.
What's your final grade?
My final grade is a 3.1. So pretty close.
Okay.
Yeah, you got 2.8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we're on the same page.
We are on the same page.
All right. So that's your one favorite thing. It's the dance sequence during the credits, not even the movie.
Right.
Okay. So, my favorite thing in this movie is very difficult for me to figure out my favorite thing.
Okay.
So I didn't. I figured out my least favorite thing in this movie.
Okay.
How about that? I'm changing it up on you.
All right, changing it up.
All right. So my least favorite thing in this movie, this mismatched plot and everything.
Atrocity.
Yeah. There's this one scene in which Dr. Gorski and Blue are in a room together, and nobody else is in the room. And Blue wants Baby Doll to dance for the high roller.
Right.
Is he the mayor? Oh, is it the mayor? Yeah, the mayor is coming, or somebody. That's not important.
Yeah, the mayor is coming, yes.
The mayor. Blue wants Baby Doll to dance for the mayor. And Dr. Gorski is like, no, she can't dance. She's not ready. Whatever that means. And...
no, she doesn't have a set. She doesn't have a costume.
Yeah, whatever. So, this is a scene that makes absolutely no sense in the grand scheme of this movie. Because if we're watching this movie through Baby Doll's eyes or through Sweet Pea's eyes,
don't even
neither
know.
of them are in this scene with
Right.
Dr. Gorski and Blue.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, this scene is out of place.
Okay.
In this horrible plot of a movie. That's my least favorite moment.
All right.
So that does it for Sucker Punch.
That's it. Thank you for recommending this. I feel like we haven't. I mean, The Birds was one thing, but I feel like this was definitely a film that we both really didn't like. But I feel like I enjoyed reviewing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was excited to watch the movie. I had never seen it.
Okay.
It was not what I was expecting.
Okay.
But yeah.
I had seen it one time, but it was on a plane, and I think I fell asleep. So I did not remember this film. I did remember falling asleep, so I felt like I was not going to like it. But here we are.
So, after watching this movie that was centered around doing these dances
that we never see,
that we never got to see.
We want dancing.
Yeah, we want some dancing in our movies.
The 3 movies that we have for you to choose from is A, Black Swan, which is pretty much based around ballet, specifically the Swan Princess.
It is a psychological thriller.
Yes, it's very psychological.
Lesbianotic.
And then B, we have Silver Lining Playbook, which I think this film centers around some kind of ballroom. Like the 2 main characters are trying to come up with it, or trying to win this dance competition. I cannot remember why, but I mean, it's a pretty good film.
It's a pretty good movie. Yeah.
You've seen it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And then C, we have Suspiria, which we both have not seen.
Yes. Suspiria, there are 2 Suspirias. There's the 1977 Dario Argento film, and then there's also a remake by Luca Guadagnino in 2018. So yeah, both of those are kind of up for an option, because I mean, if you've seen one of the Suspiria movies, like one over the other, like, let us know. Yeah. You know, vote for which one you want.
Yeah, if that gets voted for, then we will have a second vote that will determine which one we will watch. Yeah. But yeah, I think this one is more like a freestyle kind of dance, right?
I'm not sure. I have no idea.
I think the whole movie is dance. But yes, we want some dancing, so definitely hit us up either on Instagram, which is There'll Be Podcast, on Twitter, Pod From a Basket. Definitely, if you're not subscribed, subscribe to us right now. Get it out the way. We try to do these bi-weekly. And yeah, so like I said, we'll hold our voting on Instagram and Twitter, but you can also vote in the comments. And I feel like this movie is very polarizing, and a good bit of you guys voted for it. Yeah, so I want to fight. No.
You love to fight.
I do love to fight.
Let us know why you voted for it. Why do you like Sucker Punch so much? Yeah. Because honestly, I don't get it, dude.
Yeah. And I get why somebody would, but I mean, I don't. So tell me why you do, and maybe I'll understand it a little bit better.
Yeah. Hope that you've enjoyed our take on the movie.
Yeah. We had a good time.
Yeah. And with that, we're not gonna do parting words this time because there's no funny things.
Quotes, yeah.
So we're gonna do some funny reviews. Yeah, so those are always good. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, that's it. Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Was this bad? Yes. Did I have fun? Sometimes.
Yeah, we gay. Keep scrolling.
What? 1 out of 10.
Sucker Punch walked so promising young woman could run. This is not a compliment.
Wow, still shite. Thanks a bunch, Cole.
Yikes.